Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Mystery Arts Inc. I am your host, Jacob Smith, and today it gives me great pleasure to finally be able to sit down online and introduce probably most of you to a new face in mentalism and hypnosis, and magic, of course, too. The guy I'm about to introduce here he's younger than me, yet he's done unfathomably amount more things than I could ever hope to achieve. And he's been the Dutch champion of magic. Every time I talk to him, there's always some kind of nugget of gold that just falls right out and seems to fall into my lap. I'm very privileged to call him one of my very good friends in the art. But I could go on forever about how great Timon is. But instead, I say we just go ahead and introduce him. Everybody, Timon Krause.
Well, I've been expecting you. What up, dude? Hey. Good to see you. Glad to be here tonight. I'm looking forward to this for like 2 weeks, man. Or 4 weeks, or since whenever you ask me.
all those eons ago. Man, we were talking about getting this whole project started like months ago, though, and I just finally got it going. And now it's good to have you on here for our first time.
Definitely, dude. Yeah, I'm totally hyped to be here. It'll be good. Looking forward to sharing some stuff with your viewers, or tonight with our viewers. I guess we'll have some fun.
Oh yeah, we will. Now, before we begin, I should probably say, prepare for lots of random comedy, one-liners, and possibly things that can make your children cry.
We'll just be our usual selves tonight, okay? So that's exactly what we'll do.
Right. We'll take this kind of as like the fly on the wall. Like everybody watching's like the fly on the wall watching into this, and they can answer, but they're a fly that can talk, because they can ask questions to us and such. So all of you that are watching here, please don't ask questions on YouTube. I cannot see them. It slows down our feed when we have that open. So please apply your questions to Twitter. And the Twitter is Twitter/mysteryartsinc.com. Just tweet. There should be a box right below here if you're on the actual landing page that I put out. And let's get started on some fun here. So Timon, first off, how old are you now, man? You're 20 now, right?
Hold on, man. Let me actually start. I just had this brilliant idea because you were talking about random comedy. I want to tell you one of my favorite jokes. So let's start with the riddle, okay? It's a riddle. I'll solve the riddle at the end of the interview if no one solves it in the feed in between, okay? This is a riddle full of feeds. What is a chameleon in space? Okay, we'll solve it in the end. So how old am I? I'm 20 years old right now. I'm gonna turn 21 this year, but right now I'm still kind of feeling young. You know, I'm still underage in your country.
Yeah, he's but a boy, just a boy.
Yes, he is.
So
I don't really grow a beard yet or anything, so I don't have to be a man yet. It's okay.
Right, I have to keep mine in check, or else I.
Yeah, no, your facial hair goes crazy. Let's not talk about our facial hair. Let's go.
Yeah. Mustaches make me look like a rapist. That's enough said there.
I'm German. I can't talk about massages. Okay.
Yeah. Worth the price of the admittance, right there.
which is zero, right? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's worth the price of admittance.
So, let's get started here, Timon.
Sure. What's your question? Where do we start?
Where are you from? I know you're German, obviously. You're so German that there's sauerkraut falling out of your hair. Where are you from in Germany, and what got you started on this magical wormhole adventure that we call hypnosis and mentalism?
Yeah. Actually, I'm a pretty bad German. I don't drink beer. I don't eat sausage. I don't eat any meat at all. I don't particularly like sauerkraut, and that might also be why I'm not living in Germany anymore. I live in Amsterdam now, which is a pretty great place to be for an artist, entertainer. Pretty sweet over here. And in between, I've lived in New Zealand for a while, so I kind of feel Kiwi at heart, or just a little Kiwi at heart, maybe. But I got started on mentalism and hypnosis while I was in Germany. It's been 8 years, I think. I don't know, maybe this is a cliche story, okay? So it started when I was 12, and I saw a hypnosis show, and I thought it was pretty sweet. And I went home and was like, hey, Mom, I want to learn this. And she was like, no. And so I started writing emails to different trainers, and I asked them if they could teach me hypnosis. and literally every single one told me I was too young to learn it. So I took the stupid route, or maybe the route that now actually has helped me a great deal, which is teaching myself. I just copied what I saw on stage, and it worked instantly, and I hypnotized my first subject, who incidentally was my brother and then my best friend. And from there, I just kept going. I was instantly hooked. I was instantly in love. I was like, okay, this is really what I want to keep doing for the rest of my life. I found the one thing that I love, and I've been going trial and error, just going fail, 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 get up again. And yeah, so that's how I got started, I guess. And from hypnosis, I later moved into mentalism, into mind reading, and from mind reading, I later moved into some party tricks. So I can do some coin stuff now. I can do some ring stuff, as in magic. But my real passion, my real talent, I'm pretty bad at coins, so my real talent lies in hypnosis and mind reading.
And it definitely telegraphs through. I mean, I'm not sure how many people on the call have watched the. There's a performance video you put up of you doing a routine by Caleb Strange.
Bubbles, yes.
Bubbles. It's fantastic. I remember I watched it. It took me about 2 weeks to figure out how to turn subtitles on because
it has subtitles. I made them especially. Yeah. Yes.
It's in Dutch, but there's subtitles. So look, it's a private link. It's on the Magic Cafe. I found it by typing in Timon Krause, the Magic Cafe on Google, and it's right there. Maybe we can link it up here in the box afterwards.
Yeah, I can also put the video on public. I just like when I put it on, I simply wasn't sure if it was a good enough video to make it public, but I might as well actually.
Well, it was really, really good. I mean, it's a fantastic presentation on its own, but then you add your twists into it. You're very good at introducing staging into a lot of what you do.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've learned over the past 3 years or something. It's a lot about theatrics and a lot about drama. I'm actually attending a theater school. I'm learning how to act, and I'm learning how to put drama into my show. So it's not only a show anymore. It's not just me showing off skills, but it actually becomes a theater act and something that I'm proud to show to people. So, and that Bubbles was actually my first attempt at combining mystery arts with theaters, and for that it's been pretty good. There's been people in the audience crying, so I was kind of moved and proud of that.
You're the German Peter Turner.
No, I don't want to compare myself to Peter Turner. I admire the guy. Okay, so
yeah,
probably it'd be insulting to him to call me the German Peter Turner.
Fair enough.
Love Pete though. It's good.
So and it's strange because that was your first time. I had no idea that was your first time implementing those kind of theatrics into your mentalism performances. I mean, by the video, it looks like you've been doing it for years, so it's very fluid.
And yeah, well, thanks.
That was what, 4 years ago?
No, that was about 2 years ago. That was when no. Before I was just all self-taught, and this was about 2 years ago when I had been attending a theater academy for about 3 or 4 months, and we had to do a presentation every so often, and I decided, I might just mix what I can already do with the stuff that I've learned in the past few months, and this is what came out of it. It's not mind reading, obviously. It's just a piece of theatrical magic, but I think it worked really well. And over the course of the last 2 years since then, I've learned a lot of other stuff and a lot of other techniques for making something truly theatric and truly dramatic. And it's a route that's not a lot traveled. I think not a lot of entertainers do that kind of stuff, but it's something that I really recommend. Like when you're at a competition or something, you really can see a difference in the acts that have a director, like a theater director, that have proper scripting, that have had proper rehearsals, and you can really see when someone's actually got the theatrical theory behind his act instead of just showing them something. And those are usually the acts that win as well. I think that is actually what won me the title of Dutch champion of mentalism, not the Dutch champion of magic. There's been someone that beat me to that title, which is good. He's a great guy. Well, I think that's actually what won me the title, because you could definitely see, and I could definitely see the improvement in my competition act after I started working with theater director. I could definitely see how that act actually suddenly became elevated to a piece of theater.
Right, and that's and I mean, we'll go ahead and start. We'll go ahead and start this a little bit, because before we were talking about what are 4 big steps that everyone could immediately go, I'm gonna apply these 4 things and bump up my standard, whether it be your pick a card tricks, whether it be your mind reading routines,
yes,
whether it be your hypnosis set, and just bump it up to the level of something more professional in theater-wise.
Yes.
So go over these, if you wouldn't mind, go over these 4 points with us, and let us in. Let us
Sure,
know.
sure. Well, I think when I'm trying to make my shows and my acts more theatric, there's 4 main points that I keep in mind. I'm not sure what chronological order to put them into. Maybe the way I designed them in, which is first of all scripting. You definitely like that. That is one thing. I'm very grateful to a guy called Neil Austin. He's on the Magic Cafe as well, and he's been doing the scripting with me for my competition acts. And ever since I've had another scriptwriter on board for my full-time shows, when you've got a full-time script and you know exactly what you're going to say, you're never again going to have the moment where you're going to be like, this is what I'm going to say. You're never going to again have like fill words or something. You know, I'm using a lot of filling words right now because I'm kind of, you know, we're kind of jazzing this. But when you have a script, it all goes really smooth and you all come across as really professional. But scripting obviously also includes timing. It includes timing for the jokes. It includes how you're going to pronounce certain words. It includes how you're going to move with certain words. And that might even bring me to the second point, which is rehearsal. It's not enough to write the show. You actually need, not even in front of a live audience, but need to rehearse the show. Just take a room somewhere. We've got a room right here, which is called the Crea. And it's a room where you can hire rooms for rehearsal. And you just go sit there for 8 hours a day, and you rehearse the act over and over again. And you film yourself, and you look in the mirror, and you keep going over the act. You try every movement until every movement sits. Actually, I got a dancer on board for that. I got someone who's doing dance choreographies, and he created a sort of dance choreography or sort of choreography for my acts, so that with every word that I said, with every movement that I did, I knew exactly where I was going to go, which way I'm going to turn, when I'm going to move my hand in which way, so it's going to look the best, most professional in a way. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, it does completely.
Okay, so first 2 points, scripting and rehearsal. I think they go really close together. Then the other 2 points, yeah, the other 2 points, they're more. The other 2 points are more concerned with actually writing the show, and with actually like what are you gonna do? And when I'm doing that, and you know, I think we're gonna get deeper into this later on when we talk about my philosophy on magic. But when I'm doing a show, I really want it to come across as real, which is also because my roots lie in hypnosis, which is 100% real. So I want the rest of the show, at least for the duration of the show, to come across as absolutely real. And when I'm doing that, I'm writing my show not from a method point of view, and I think this spends it a lot of times, but I guess it still bears reinforcement. I'm not writing from a method point of view, but I just look into it and I'm like, okay, if I could do this for real, what would I do? And this is a point of view that I've learned to take from my theater director, because he told me, okay, dude, I don't know what you can do or what you can't do, but if I was you, I would be doing this and this and this just because it looks good on stage. And he tells me what he would expect me to do, and then I go away and I take 2 or 3 weeks to figure out how I'm going to do that. Does this make sense? Yeah. So I try to view the point from, I try to view the show from a point of view as if I'm 100% real mind reader, which of course I am. So I try to really create the show as if I could read minds for real, and I ask myself, what would I do if I were the absolute real deal? And then there's a totally other side to it, which is the 4th point. So the first 3 points are script, rehearsal, and then write as if you could actually do that. The 4th point is totally different from the 3rd point. It's write the show without effects, which is something that I've learned at my entertainment school. It's not technically a theater school, it's for entertainment and cabaret. And we learn to write cabaret texts. And I write my show in such a way that I could play the show without any effects in it. I could, you know, it's like a cabaret program, but it's spiced up with mentalism. So I want to have mentalism in there that is so hard-hitting that people are going to be 100% convinced that it's absolutely real. Then I want to have this other part in there, which is cabaret, and people are just going to laugh their asses off, or going to be hooked by my stories, by my anecdotes, by what I'm saying, by what I'm doing with the people. When you bring those 2 things together, you're going to have a fucking good show.
Yeah.
So the 4 points that I try to keep in mind when I'm creating a show and I want to make it theatrical, it's rehearsal, it's scripting, definitely one. Yeah, all 4 of those points are really big points. But scripting is really important. When you're scripting, try to actually talk the script, by the way. That is a tip that I got. When you're scripting, actually talk the script. Talk first, then write it down. Otherwise, you're going to write in such a way that it's, when you talk it afterwards, it sounds like a written script. That's not what you want. Just go wing the act, you know, think, okay, these are going to be the next 10 minutes of my show. Play those, record yourself, and then type down what you said, and then make it finer. Also, when you're writing for a hypnosis show, which is another tip that I just got, when you're writing for a hypnosis show or a mentalism show, you definitely want to have some flow in it. So what I do when I write my scripts, this is going to sound freaky, but it's true. I put a hip hop beat on, just an instrumental hip hop beat, and the first few times I actually kind of rap my shows. And that I do because I want to have a kind of flow in my show. I want to have the flow in the text, especially for hypnosis. I want to have an ongoing flow that never stops. It has to be, has to roll. It has to go smooth. And when you do that on a beat, you're almost automatically, if you're kind of sensitive for beats, you're almost automatically gonna speak a script that has flow in it. So rehearsal scripting, write it as if you could do it for real. Don't let yourself be. Don't concern yourself with methodology or anything. If you ever think how I'm going to do that, and you don't have a clue how to do that, pre-show solves everything. Though you probably shouldn't use too much. But anyway, no, that might not be the best advice that I ever gave. So script that last piece of advice, grab it. Rehearsal, do it like if you do it for real, and then write without the effects. Write something that is engaging without the effects. The effects are great because you're always going to have something to fall back on, and that is, I think, our great advantage over cabaretists or something, because they don't have something to fall back on. And so I'm really admiring them for playing the show balls out with just themselves, which is really cool. But seeing that you already have something to fall back on, try to write the show in such a way that you could do it without. Yeah, so I think that's my rambling on 4 points over how to make it theatrical.
That's, it's interesting because I've always heard the first 3 points. I've heard those before from a lot of people. Obviously, rehearsal, that's the best way to kill stage fright. Scripting, need the internal and external script. Play it as if it's real.
We should talk about internal script later as well, definitely. Sorry, go on.
Yes, we should. The fourth one is the one I've never really put a lot of thought into. Now my mind's got it locked in there.
Yes.
That's incredible.
I'd like to elaborate on that. I don't know. Maybe I can. I'm not sure. The way I learned this was the hard way, because we were expected, as I told you, we expected to do presentations every so often from our theater academy. And at a certain point, I was like, okay, I've been doing the combination of theatrics and magic for a while now. So this time I just want to go balls out, and I'll just play a full cabaret program, which all of my classmates had been doing all along, obviously, because they're not mind readers, they're not magicians, they're not hypnotists, so they had to play a cabaret program like that. But I was like, okay, this is going to be a big step for me, because I'll lose the one thing that I can usually fall back on. And it taught me a great deal. Just playing a program with just cabaret taught me heaps. And I definitely recommend, if you're a full-time entertainer, definitely recommend doing that. Just find an open podium or something, write a cabaret program, go out there and perform. Maybe try to perform something that is in your show, but write it in such a way that you could perform without the effects, and just try out how that works. And you'll pretty soon know if your texts or scripts are really engaging or not. So I believe that a lot of scripts that we hear with mentalists are fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing it that way, you're really road testing, and you're really going balls out and testing the stuff. And if you crash, you crash. It's okay. Take an open stage. Every month, I'm trying to do 2 open stage performances at the least, where I can try out new stuff. Last Saturday, I did an open stage performance, and 3 of my 5 effects failed. I hadn't been doing the only cabaret thing there, but I tried out new stuff. 3 of 5 effects failed. Taught me a great deal, though. I took it like a man. I was like, okay, this failed, and the amusement factor was really high. We had a huge amusement factor. The audience loved it. It was okay, and my final effect worked, and I had something to fall back on. It was okay, but just go, keep going, go try out new stuff. I believe when you have a little bit of success, once people like entertainers start to be successful, a little bit of success comes with an unproportionally huge amount of fear. Like once you start being successful, or once you start getting regular performances, people get this huge fear of trying out new stuff, which before they had. And then when you stop trying out new stuff, you're probably going to get bored with what you do in 5 years' time. You're going to stop it, and you lost a great hobby, which is a drama. But you shouldn't be so afraid. You should just keep going and keep exploring. I don't know. I've never really had that package of fear of failure, luckily, which is good. And I just keep on performing and keep on trying out new stuff. And every so often I get a fucking great moment with new stuff, and I think, okay, this is something that I wouldn't have done in my show if it had been a paid show, but I tried it out now. And it's an amazing moment. I had that last Friday. I had a tryout last Friday. And it was an amazing moment, and I just put that straight into my show right now because that hit people so hard.
And that's so basically one of the things I'm kind of hearing here is, don't push off your open mics and your free performances. Don't, that's kind of one of the things I keep hearing from you when you're saying this.
Yeah.
Use free performances to test out things and create moments that,
Yes, definitely. Which isn't to say, I choose them. It's not like I'm doing every free performance that comes flying in or something. I make my living off this, so I want to keep my money flowing, obviously, and I want to keep the professionalism in, and I'm not doing regularly free shows. When someone's writing to me and they're like, "What's your wage?" and they name it, and they're like, "Oh, can you do it for free as well?" I'll definitely be like, "No, I can't. I'm living off this." But when I know that there's a great open podium somewhere, and I know I have some new stuff that I want to try out, I message them and tell them, "Hey, I got this new stuff that I want to try out. Can I come along?" And when you can choose the free performances, it's a great thing to do. It gives you all the freedom. It gives you the freedom to fail as well, or to try out. It's okay if you don't, you should always aim to perform 100%, obviously. And I treat the open mic nights as if they were my highest paid gigs ever. I just treat them like that. I rehearse like that for them. I don't take them lightly because there's potential audience, there's potential clients in there. I want them to be amazed. I want my audience to have a great time. It's also about respect for the audience. So I treat them like they are high-paying clients. But it still gives you the opportunity to try out new stuff that you probably wouldn't try out because of insecureness in your paid shows. So no, don't put off your open mics. Go.
Well, and I think this is an important point to make here too, because let's because I know some people out there ask themselves, well, okay, I'm already performing this stuff. Why would I take the time to make it theatrical? What is the payoff for that? And how I'm going to answer this payoff is basically this. We were talking beforehand about how many, bearing in mind Timon is a full-time student,
Yes.
how many shows are you doing a week currently right now, pretty much?
Well, I'm doing per week, I'm doing about 3 performances, which is paid performances. So per weekend, I'm usually got 2 performances in the weekend, and then I've got an extra performance somewhere during the week, which is kind of a lot because I'm doing the theater school. I'm also studying philosophy, but I figured, seeing that I can't do anything with philosophy ever, I'll probably just stay an entertainer. It's really just for fun because I love philosophy. So it's 3 performances, and I think that is a good payoff of making it theatrical. I've noticed that ever since I've been putting in the work, and hard work really pays off. If you just put in the hard work, it's going to pay off. And this is only something that people need to consider that want to do a full-time living with this. But there's the payoff. People love it. People are going to look at it and they're going to be like, "Whoa, this is not at all what I expected. I've seen this other magician before. He was just showing tricks, and this is a full-blown show." Oh, yeah. That's
right.
what you got to do if you want to differentiate it from the competition as well.
And it's really like with you, I've noticed. Once you get this kind of system down, you effortlessly kind of separate yourself out because your unique brand and everything is this theatrics, is these moments. These moments.
Luckily, there's not a lot of people blending art forms like that as well. Well, luckily, I'd love to see it more, but in a business kind of way, luckily there isn't. And yeah, that is what separates me here, I think.
Right on. So, real quick, we were talking about story beforehand too.
Yeah.
And I know you said already you study philosophy, so I'm interested in hearing not only this metro story you were telling me earlier. I know I'd want to share it with everybody here, but also kind of out of that some of the philosophical things that brought to you, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think there's 2 parts of that. We need to divide this into 2 parts. The first one is my philosophy on magic or mentalism or hypnosis in general. First one is my philosophy on the performance itself. The second one is my approach to hypnosis, which I think is, in a way, well, we talked about this, in a way it's different from the standard approach to hypnosis that we find. And it's also, it sounds crazy, but it's, instead of a psychological approach to hypnosis, it could be called, in a way, a philosophical approach to hypnosis. I've written in a book, I've written about this, and I'm writing a second one, and I probably won't ever release the second one, but I love writing, so I just write it anyway. So let's start with my philosophy on magic, on mentalism in general. And that is where the metro story comes in. The metaphor story is nice. It's a nice metaphor for how I want the audience to experience my magic or my performance. I call it, just for the record, when I'm saying magic, I'm referring to mentalism. I'm referring to hypnosis. I'm not a magician. Like I don't really do a lot of coin tricks, but I call it magic in my mind because that's what I want to be for the audience. As you'll see in a moment, I want to be a magician, as in real magic, as in maybe as a wizard or something. I don't know. It says, I'll show you a business card one second. Here, it actually says, on there it says mind reader, but it also says real magic at the top. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yes.
Yes.
And that's what I want to be for my people, for my audience. I want to be a real magician. I want to give them a moment of real magic. So, the metro story. A while ago, a friend of mine was traveling in the metro, a friend from the theater academy, and he suddenly started acting. Well, he was just in his hometown, okay? He was just traveling in his hometown, and he started acting with another friend of his as if he was a student, or like an exchange student, from overseas, who didn't know the town. And his friend played along, and he started showing him the city. He started acting as if he was showing the city to a tourist. Now, all the people on the metro are gonna go home, and they're gonna believe that this friend of mine is actually a student from overseas, because that moment seamlessly was woven into their belief systems. There was no reason for them to doubt the reality of him being an exchange student. Not going to think about it. So that moment becomes totally real, and they're never ever, unless they're watching this interview, they're never ever going to hear that this guy wasn't an exchange student, but merely someone acting as if he was. Is that clear? Is the story clear?
Yes.
Okay. That is the same effect that I want to achieve in my magic. And I know a lot of people are going to bash me on this. They're probably going to throw me out of something for this. I don't know. I'm a member of Magic Circle, so I can be thrown out of something. That's a good thing. I've heard a lot of discussion about this with people, but when I do my shows, I claim that everything that I do is 100% real. I go balls out. I can read minds for real. In a way, I come from a theatrical background, so it's easy for me to claim that. It kind of fits in with my belief system anyway. But I also come from hypnosis as a background, which is my strongest roots, and that is 100% real. So it only seemed logical to me to claim that everything else I was doing is real as well. And by doing that, I want to achieve a moment of real magic for my audience. I want them to go home and think, wow, what I've just seen is real, and there's apparently more to this world than I understand, because I'm totally convinced that we live in a world where you can explain everything, and people need to explain everything, and they get crazy when they can't explain everything, that I get a real deep desire to show them something they cannot explain, but that they can appreciate nevertheless, that they can look at what they're seeing, that they can experience what they're seeing, experience it as magic, and start wondering again, that they can just be like, I wonder, what if that was real, and if that was real, wow. And I know that this approach works. I know that I'm getting the effect that I want to get, because people, my audience, I don't know, when they talk to me afterwards, most of them are convinced that all what I do is real. And let's say that 75% of the stuff I do in my show is real as well. I'm a hypnotist, so a lot of the stuff I do is real. But I want to, that's the challenge that I'm giving myself. I want to weave everything that I do seamlessly into their belief system. Also, when I'm working one-on-one, that is also one of the ways on how I can create, how I can incorporate mentalism and mind reading into my coachings. I'm doing coaching, hypno-coaching. I'm also doing coaching on a philosophical basis. But how I can incorporate that mentalism and mind reading into the coaching is that I pass it off, if you want. It sounds negative, but pass it off as 100% real anyway. And even if it's fake, it can have 100% real effect. There is a nice Jungian archetype which is called the trickster. There's different Jungian archetypes, and the trickster is exactly the archetype that I see myself as. The trickster is, well, how do I explain the trickster? Well, you should definitely read up on the trickster. The trickster is all about creating a different set of realities, or challenging the commonly accepted belief system for the benefit of wandering. And of course, the trickster is always gonna stay outside the reality he has created, because he's got to hold it intact. So he has to stay outside of the wonder, which is a bad thing. Now, why most people think that this is a negative thing, I think, is that they believe you're betraying someone. Which, when you look at it at the surface, you're also doing. You're lying to them, you're telling them that something is real, which is not real. But if you think about what reality is, it's probably going to become clear that you can create a new reality, something that they can accept as real, without doing them any harm whatsoever. Maybe with even, and that is why I do it, maybe even giving them something sacred, which I believe is the feeling of magic, the feeling of wonder, without doing any harm at all. The only point when it goes bad is when you then take away the illusion. If you claim that it's real, and you keep claiming it's real, and at a certain point you tell them it's not real, that is the moment when you betray them, because then you create a reality, you create something beautiful, then you take it away. You can't do that. If you take this approach, if you take this path, and you want to go 100% balls out real, you cannot take it away. You got to keep the illusion intact, and you got to keep acting, and you got to stay outside their reality, and you got to make sure that that reality becomes totally coherent, which is in a way easier when you're working one-on-one, but can also be done when you're working on stage. When you're working on stage, you kind of have to invite the audience into your reality. When you're doing it one-on-one, it's easy for you to create your magic in such a way that it fits their belief system, which is stronger, which is easier. So far, does it make? Are you following it? Am I making sense?
Yeah, completely. So
okay, so just to put this straight, I'm advocating claiming that it's real. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing, and people will bash me for this. It's okay. I think it's okay as long as you're not using it for your own advantage, and as long as you're not harming anyone with it. You know, it's harmless in a way. I'm not, to make it clear, I'm not doing seances. I'm not contacting the dead. I'm not giving advice based on this. I'm not doing readings for advice. I think readers can be beautiful when they believe in it themselves. But I don't believe in it. I don't believe in an oracle system, so I'm not comfortable giving people readings like that. But I am totally comfortable giving people a magic experience that they feel is 100% real, just because it's a moment of wonder.
Empty their cup.
Say it again?
You're basically making people empty their cup.
How do you mean?
Well, it's like the old Chinese proverb, you know. The wise man journeys to meet the great philosopher, and the philosopher starts pouring tea into his cup, and he just doesn't stop. He keeps overflowing, and gives the lesson that one must empty their cup before they can truly experience something. So you're making them empty their past experience out to experience real wonder.
Yes, maybe that is it. Exactly. Or I'm taking my experience of wonder if I'm working one-on-one, and I make it so that it fits their cup, so that they can experience it within their realms, and that it might just overflow just a little. They might just believe, you know, they must have the experience from, whoa, this is something that is just a little off. Actually, in philosophy, we talked about this. When people are looking for an explanation, they're not always going to look for the most rational explanation. The explanation they're going to take first is one that is slightly amazing. It's one that is slightly off. Only then they're going to look for the most rational explanation. That's why it makes it so easy to manipulate their belief system, if you want, in such a way that they will look for, you know, if it's coherent with what they've experienced so far, but just slightly off, they'll be very likely to accept it.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And that's a lot of interesting philosophical points to consider in a performance.
I hope that I kind of made it clear. I hope that I made this kind of clear, you know. Just once again, go balls out, tell them it's real, don't harm them, and don't, you know, obviously don't change any belief systems of theirs that are healthy or anything. You can't change it. There's always the problem of, why do I have the right to do that? And that is something that I'm not totally clear on yet. You know, it's like, why would I have the right to betray them like that? But then again, I kind of believe that the reality that I'm creating for them is just as valuable as the reality that someone else might be creating for them. So, yeah.
Well, it's also, you know, going back to theatrics and stuff. If you go to a ventriloquist, you know, you don't have you're sitting with your buddy at the ventriloquism show. Your buddy doesn't go, "Hey, dude, it's okay, calm down. It's not, the dummy can't really talk."
Yes. Exactly. Only in a ventriloquism show, people kind of, you know, they know the principle behind it. They know that they're going to a show where someone's doing ventriloquism, while when they come to see me, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't see the ventriloquism part. They only see the puppet. And they see the puppet talk by themselves, but they won't know that there's someone else animating the puppet.
So it's basically Puppet Master.
Yes. No, I don't know. Oh, that sounds freaky. Okay. Anyway, so I think that is the first point on my philosophy of magic put out there.
By the way, real quick, does anybody have an answer to our riddle so far? I'm paying
Yes,
attention.
the riddle. We should keep the riddle up. So what is a chameleon in space? It's
Come
not
on.
invisible, okay? An answer that I get often is invisible. It's not.
It is a good answer though. So I'm
No,
looking
it's
at Twitter,
not.
I'm waiting for answers. Waiting for answers. Do we have a? Can we get a quick Timon joke?
We get a quick Timon joke. Let me think about one. Do you want to have like a Timon one-liner or something?
Oh yeah, let's hear it. I know you've got him.
Um, well, you know, it's kind of hard to explain puns to kleptomaniacs because they always take things literally.
I like that one. Timon.
Here's another one. No, I think I forgot it. This is another riddle. How do you kill a vegetarian vampire?
Oh, I remember this one.
With a stake to the heart. And last one. Ah, shit. What's the what's it called? What's the rapper called? I forgot what the rapper was called. Oh yes, Jay-Z. What did Jay-Z call his girlfriend before they got married?
What?
Fiancé.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the interview. That was 3 one-liners, so let's get back to the interview.
Well, I know. You know. I mean, obviously, we talk quite a bit.
Yes, we do.
You're both so busy anymore. It's hard to get in touch. But you've done a lot of work with a certain airborne creature.
Certain airborne creature.
Certain airborne creature.
Yes. Credit has to go to Bob Burns for that, obviously. You're referring to the swan, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yes, I demoed that to you over Skype. It's a technique by Bob Burns that he uses in therapy to communicate or set up communication both ways with the subconscious, which is a brilliant technique. You know, it's something that I touched upon before as well, where I'm kind of getting people in a show context to transmit or to project part of their subconscious into an object or into a tree and communicate with that. Bob Burns has made it so much better. And the idea is that people, you know, I can't tip too much, but then again, everyone should get the DVD, okay? Everyone who's into hypnosis and into therapy should get the DVD, The Swan by Bob Burns. Fucking amazing. The idea is that people form a swan, a puppet with their hand, and they start talking to it. And I just like the concept of that so much, you know, forming a puppet. I thought it looked really bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so good results with that in my therapy and coaching sessions that I put it to stage. And now you get either one of 2 pictures. Either you get the picture, the whole audience is swanning themselves, and they're playing with a swan, and they freak out, and it's a really good suggestionist test as well. Or one person on stage is playing with a swan, and they're projecting a huge part of the personality into that hand, and they're going to talk to the swan. The whole audience is going to see that person talking to their own hand. They've got a 3-phase routine with that thing. Yeah, I can do the. Yeah, should I let you know about the 3-phase routine? You want to hear about it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
I told you about it before, but you know, I think you liked it. I demoed the swan to Jacob via Skype. I think I demoed my routine to you via Skype sometime. And what I do, because for me, you know, when I'm doing a hypnosis show, I'm always only getting 4 people up on stage. We might talk about why I do that in a moment. It's something that I call the hypnosis circle. It's like the social dynamics construct that even makes someone that is not suggestible at all highly suggestible really quickly. It's, if I may say that, it's brilliant. I love the hypnosis circle. It works incredibly well.
I'm shocked you're giving that away on here.
Sorry?
I'm really shocked you're giving that away on here.
I'm not giving it away. I'm not giving a lot of it away, but just mentioning it. I'm taking maximum of 4 people up on stage. I'm not all for taking this for a hypnosis show, okay? Not all for taking 20 people at a time up on stage, because I really want it to be personal with the people. I really want the audience to know all 4 people in the end. Mind you, the show that I'm doing is not a comedy show. It's a really surreal show. I really want to create an atmosphere of magic and dream-likeness. So I got a lot of suggestions that I designed myself for the show that will create this feeling. And the swan is one of them that I applied for this. And so the person doing the swanning, I really want them to create a real character out of the swan, which is something that is not as apparent in the original Swan DVD. But once again, it's huge. And don't think I'm saying anything bad about the swan. So the 3 phases that I'm using is that first, I have the swan come alive, but then we grab that, hey, but taking a breath into the swarm as well. The swarm starts to move, and thanks to Bob's brilliant setup, it's really easy to make the swarm move and to elicit, I don't know, the movement here. And the swarm's going to tell them the name. It's going to whisper the name of the video. And that's where you get the first part of the personality infused into the swarm. From there, I go to different exercises where they infuse more of the personality and they take guesses at how the swarm might behave and what the swarm might be like, just to get a clear picture of it. And the swarm moves, which is the second main phase. Once the character is established, the swarm moves again and starts whispering jokes into the ear. So here you get the old, that laughing man who really a suggestion, only that they're telling jokes to themselves. And the audience thinks it's crack up, and sometimes they even share the jokes. Sometimes they genuinely hear jokes they haven't heard before. And that for me is the most crack up moment, because they're supposed to tell them a joke, and they actually crack up about it. And it goes back. And then I want to give them something. I always love giving people gifts. I always love giving people a genuinely mysterious experience. So I then tell them, well, first I go like, okay, now everyone in the audience knows that swarms are supposed to be the most comic animals in the world, isn't that so? And the whole audience goes like, yes, yes, which might be a nice example, a nice small example of how I'm working a lot with social pressure. You know, people always think that hypnotists work with social pressure. So at a certain point I was like, oh, I might as well. Why not? Let's just work with social pressure for real. It works really good. It's also part of my hypnosis. Just social dynamics. So the second time around, I go like, okay, everyone in the audience obviously knows that swans are also the best oracles, aren't they? And everyone goes like, yes, yes, I know. And I tell the person, okay, is there something in your life that you believe you want an answer to, or that you're unsure about? Usually they go yes. And if I ask a question in the mind to the swan moves to the ear, and it whispers the answer into the ear. And I'm like, okay, did that make sense? Yes. Okay, you don't need to share with us, keep that answer with you. And people have this short moment of actually engaging themselves with the subconscious and getting an answer from the subconscious. Like Q&A, only that I don't really do any work. You know, I don't know the question, I don't give the answer. People ask the question, they give the answer, and the audience is absolutely astonished. You know, you would think really tempting to reveal the answer or to reveal the question. Don't do that. The audience is absolutely amazed by that the person is getting something from themselves. Beautiful, it's really pure. I try to stay away from making moments that are this pure more amazing by putting in a reveal. I just leave it at that. And then the swan moves back away, and the swan moves back, it kisses them, and when it kisses them, they go back into hypnosis. Which is another nice part of theatricality. I think I've sent it to you. I've written a book or written a write-up on, I think, 20 different inductions that look good on stage. It's basic inductions, basic inductions taken to be theatrical. I just took the basic inductions and I made them look good for on stage.
Right.
Because, you know, in my hypnosis show, I really want to mystify hypnosis. Outside of my show, not so much. I teach hypnosis, I give hypnosis courses, and I want people to know what hypnosis is about. I don't claim any special powers in hypnosis, although I still say it's real because it is. But in my show, I really mystify and visualize hypnosis, and the inductions help me do that. Now, there's some hypnotists that don't use inductions anymore, and I'm really amazed by those guys. It's really cool when they just walk up to a table and just go, your hand stuck to the table. That's cool. I love it, but it doesn't suit my style. It doesn't suit my theatrical style. I just really want the inductions to look amazing on stage. And this is one of them. You know, they kiss the swan and they go back to sleep. It's like this reverse Snow White moment, kind of.
Yeah.
So the swan, that's the swan. That's what I did with the swan.
Hold on, 'cause I'm having a little bit of audio trouble again. I don't know
You
why.
having audio problems again? Should I just quickly check my mic?
Yeah.
1 sec. Oh, did you understand what I said, though?
I did. It's just it's a little it's understandable. It's just a little bit muddled.
1 second. How about now?
Yep. There we go.
Excellent. Good stuff. Give me, if I'm rambling again and you get mic problems, let's say, give me an East pack, okay, and I'll check quickly. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Okay, sweet. You can also do a West pack if you want to do whatever. I don't care. Just don't give me the finger, okay?
No, I gotta give you the finger though.
Give me the awkward turtle. You can do the awkward turtle if you want to.
Oh, I do like that's awkward turtle babies, isn't it? I thought this was the.
That's the awkward turtle baby. Yes, yes. This is part of my show. For everyone watching, this is also a part of my show. It's the awkward animal, the awkward zoo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen the whole awkward zoo.
They're fucking fun.
It's enlightening to say that.
Sorry? What did you say?
It's an enlightening experience.
It is. Okay, what do we go on with? I think we have like a few questions that we need to answer, and we
Yeah,
might.
we cover. Well, I think I got two main questions before we even did the interview. These guys are not on here right now because just their time could not permit it. From Matt Chalk, he wants to know how you blend hypnosis and mentalism so well, which I think also ties in with the question I got from Alexander Schumacher.
Yes.
How do I start applying suggestion in my mind-reading demonstrations?
Nice. Sweet. I think that gives us stuff to talk about again. I'm pretty glad that I asked those questions because that's something I've been asking myself a lot. Now, Matt Chalk has actually seen a show of mine, so I'm glad that he says how you blend in mentalism and hypnosis so well. I take that as a compliment, and I promised him to do a shout-out, so hey, Matt Chalk, thanks for asking me a question, and it was good to meet you. And I'm hoping to meet Alexander Schumacher sometime soon. He's from Germany as well. I think he's this up-and-coming mentalist, so maybe I hope we'll hear something from him in the future. So glad he asked the question as well. Let's start with Matt Chalk's question, I guess. I actually took some notes on that because you told me what the questions would be. Blending mentalism and hypnosis, I faced one main problem, which was that when I did my hypnosis show, people were amazed. And well, when I'm doing a show, I usually do a show in two parts. It's very Kreskin-esque, okay? So I first start with mind reading, then break, and then a hypnosis show. And people after the show were usually 100 times more amazed by the hypnosis than by the mind reading. And I wondered why that was. And then I realized it was because hypnosis was real, mind reading was not. And I conveyed that on stage, and people felt what's real and what's not. So 2 points that I've taken to solve the problem. First, I'm trying to learn everything that I do for mind reading on stage for real. Like I've got this, you've seen my propless witch hand, it's propless, and they can keep the coin, everything, and I can do it, I'm pretty much doing what I'm saying. So I'm always trying to create the routines now in such a way that if I could do it for real, which is what I hinted at before with the 4 points for making something theatrical, if I could do something for real, that's how it's going to look like. I'm not just performing the routine and putting a script on it, but I'm actually planning like, okay, if I can actually read body language, which is not the point of view I take, like I'm not a Sherlock Holmes 2.0, I think there's too many out there, but fair enough.
Ben Cardall still rules above them all.
Ben Cardall ruled. No. There wasn't. There's too many of them around here that do the same approach. So I just took a different approach to it. So I'm trying to write it in such a way as if to incorporate the process that I actually need for the mind read underneath. It's the internal script. And when I'm performing, I often try to get the impressions for real first, or to do as much as possible for real before I fall back on methodology, whichever that might be. If it's psychological or whichever, it doesn't really matter. That's the one point that I took. The second point that I took is that I realized that my mentalism was a lot more gimmicky than my hypnosis. Because my hypnosis, I just walk up on stage, just me, and I take 4 people up on stage, and I hypnotize them, and I do exactly what I said I'd be doing, and people see that it's real because there's nothing involved where there could be a trick. And then you look at the mentalism part, and you suddenly walk around with 15 envelopes and 25 decks of cards and an epic mental slate and a flipboard and something to write stuff on. I've totally scrapped the thing to write on from my show because I didn't like the picture anymore. I thought it looked like, I don't know, I didn't like it, so I scrapped it. And I scrapped every possible prop from a mentalism show. It's near propless now. The only props that are in there are totally motivated, and so it comes real close in cleanness and realness to the hypnosis part. And ever since I've done that, I get just as strong reactions to my mentalism part as to my hypnosis part. So when blending mentalism and hypnosis, I think the main point that you need to look out for is that they go and flow into each other as naturally as possible, and they look the same as naturally as possible. It might help if you're thinking about what are my abilities. Okay, for hypnosis, it's influencing people, or it's connecting with people. For me, it's connecting with people. It's not, I don't take the stance of I can overpower you. So for me, it's connecting with people, and by connecting with them, I create a space where we allow magic to happen, which is my actual philosophy in hypnosis, by the way. And I do the same for mentalism. I was like, okay, if I can do this, then for mind reading I should do that as well. So the stance I take for mind reading is I'm connecting with people, and I'm starting to understand people. And once I get into their mind, because I connect with them, and it's based on mutual understanding, I can then read their minds because I know what they're thinking, because I'm thinking the same way in that moment. Just like I do it in hypnosis. When I really connect with someone, you know, it's like a dance that goes back and forth, and we connect and flows by itself. So that, and then there's obviously the other part of blending mentalism and hypnosis, which is blending mentalism in with hypnosis. Say, while doing hypnosis, doing mentalism as well, which I do a lot. And that is mainly about finding the right effects to blend with hypnosis. It's once again about, you know, if you're doing a hypnosis show and suddenly, again, you flick out the mental epic slate, which I'm not bashing people who use mental epic, okay? I'm sure there's people that use it great, that use it and that have really cool effect with it. I just found for my mentalism, for my hypnosis show, it didn't really fit that if I were to do hypnosis, I'd suddenly take out this huge board. So I'm just looking for the effects that are just as clean as the hypnosis, once again, to blend in with the hypnosis. Like a coin bend. A coin bend works really well for me. I do a coin bend. In the end, one person standing holding the coin, the whole audience actually gets up and they start humming, which is a really fun experience because we're doing the singing lesson, the whole audience is humming and they all connect. And when I first did this, I thought the whole audience, they all laughed their asses off, that wouldn't take it serious. But when I realized they're all taking it for real, and it is real because I'm creating an anchor all the while and everyone takes an anchor away, they totally get into it. And then it fits really well with the hypnosis. And the person up the hand and the coin is bent. And in my show, this has a symbolical meaning to take it with them. That's the other part about blending mentalism into hypnosis. You can, of course, also blend hypnosis into mentalism, which might be the question that Alexander Schumacher has asked.
Yes.
Which is, want to repeat it? Repeat it. Which is?
How do I start applying suggestion into my mind reading demonstrations?
Yes. Which I think is easier than blending mentalism into hypnosis. It's easier to blend hypnosis or suggestion into mind reading because with the mind reading, you've always got something to fall back on, which is a good thing. And when Alexander asks, how do I start? I suppose this is going to be, you know, for how do I begin to put suggestion into hypnosis, into mentalism. Main advice of that is have something surefire to back on. Let's take the example of the coin bend once again, okay? Sometimes I'm doing the coin bend in the hypnosis show, sometimes I'm also doing it in the mind reading show, and then I blend suggestion into it. It's a really good idea to have an effect like the coin bend to fall back onto, because if the suggestion fails, you're always going to still have an amazing effect that's going to hit hard in the end. So what I do with the coin bends, I have the person hold onto the coin, it's a signed coin, they extend their arm, and I start suggesting that they send energy from their arm through the arm, from the head through the arm into the fist, and the fist starts becoming heavier. And of course, this is a physiological trick. Everyone that's been into hypnosis for a little while knows that when you keep an arm like this and the fist is turned up, it's going to become real heavy real quick. While if you hold it like this, it's not. Okay, so there's the famous balloon suggestion test where you hold all two arms like this and they go apart. So I'm taking advantage of this. And now where the actual suggestion comes in is that once I notice that the arm's slowly going down, I tell them, and the more you feel the arm going down, the more you can actually feel the coin heating up. And I've created a link. Obviously, if you know your way around hypnotic language families, you're going to recognize the chain or the link that we've created, the loop that we've created. If I say the more the arm goes down, the more it's going to heat up, the more it's going to heat up, the heavier the coin is actually going to become. Two cool effects. First of all, most people will actually feel the coin heating up, and this is a great way to practice your suggestion, because you've got the bent coin that's going to be bent in the end to fall back on, and you've got the physiological trick to fall back on. Secondly, even if they don't feel the coin heating up, the audience will think that it does, because the only thing that they see is the arm going down. And you say, the more the arm goes down, the more the coin heats up. And they're going to inevitably see the person smile, even if it's only because the arm goes down. They're going to assume, automatically, the whole audience is going to assume that the coin is going to be heating up. So you've got a pretty surefire effect to practice all your suggestions. And how I finish it off is I go, okay, something's going to happen in a moment. Tell me yes once you think it happened. And I use the principle of power of silence, which you can find in Building Blocks by Luc Jamay. It's just, I wait and they're going to feel something. And usually people freak out. After 10 seconds, they go like, whoa, I felt something. So by finding structures like this, it's easy to apply suggestion to mentalism. Just find a structure where you feel that you can apply suggestion in a surefire way in several steps. Have a surefire effect underneath, then a light suggestion on top, and then put some heavy suggestions on top of that, and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. This is something you and I talk about constantly. Is
Yeah.
adding elements to things because it's really um. I mean, I guess once the coin bin's a great example. On its
Yeah.
own, your coin bin is amazing, but with that extra little layer, it brings it
It becomes
from
real.
yeah, and it puts your own unique brand and spin on it.
That as well. That as well. It's not just look what trick I can do. You create meaning around it in a way. You also create an experience around it. I'm not sure if meaning is the right word. I'm not all too sure about that everything has to have meaning in a way. I think wonder or magic is meaning enough. So scrap the meaning thing. But yeah, that might be a good structure to good example on how to put suggestion into mentalism. Yeah. But, okay. Has anyone solved the chameleon yet?
No, I'm still waiting on the tweets. Come on, guys. I'm not gonna say I'm upset. I'm just highly disappointed.
Fair enough. It's okay. Okay, they're gonna be disappointed in the joke anyway. Okay, so when we solve the riddle, they're gonna be disappointed anyway. It's okay.
Yeah, it's it's
All
it's
right.
it's
So
ridiculous.
anything else we want to talk about? I've got a few notes on mentalism and coaching. I think we talked about that for a quick second. It's we can elaborate on that, but I'm not sure if that's the time and space right here. We can talk about performance venues. Where do I perform? Yeah, I perform in go
You are a mind reader. That's exactly what I was about to ask you at performance venues.
performance venues. Okay, did you want to ask something specific about that, or is it just
Well, it's for you. You perform it. I've noticed because I keep up on your photos, your pictures. If you
yeah?
guys want to see exactly what Timon's doing and really keep up what's going on in his career, there's a button below. You'll see there's follow our host and there's follow our
Nice.
guest.
Nice.
He's a guest, so click that. You'll be directed directly to his Facebook page. Add him as a friend. He's a very nice guy. Um,
Cheers. Yeah, I'd love to get in touch with some of our viewers. If anyone got any questions or something, just send me a PM and we have to have a chat. And if anyone ever finds themselves in Amsterdam, consider this an half-open invitation.
yes. Yeah. Well, and it's amazing too because obviously I've chatted with you through many different shows. I've heard about you performing, in your bar open mic nights and coffee shops. Then I've heard you're in the a theater hall that packs out thousands of people.
Yeah.
So let's go into that, man. What
Where do I
are
perform? I perform where, like, right now I perform wherever I'm booked in a way as well. When people book me for private parties, I'm happy to perform there. But when I can choose, and the place that I'm happiest to perform is two places. One of them is theaters, variety theaters or vaudeville theaters. Like the old kind of style theaters where you have an actual podium and you have the red velvet curtains and that kind of stuff. I love that that atmosphere. And that can be anywhere between, I've got this tryout theater where I perform in Amsterdam every month, um, which packs about 50 people, which is really intimate. So last week we actually had a show there, and about 35 Norwegians showed up. Seeing that the theater only packs like 50 people, 35 Norwegians is a huge fucking number to show up randomly out of nothing. We didn't expect that. So they started sitting on the ground, and they just were like, oh, let's just YOLO it, and we'll go sit on the ground. We had a huge fucking party right there. It was amazing. We loved it. Or it can be a theater that packs like 250 or 350 or 400 people. And the biggest thing that I ever performed for, not in the theater, mind you, was 3,500 people at once at a stage at a festival, which is one huge party, I tell you. So the one point that I love to perform at is theaters. I really like theaters. I've done a few TV things which I enjoyed, but I'm really enjoying the theater thing more. The other part that I'm performing at frequently and where I really love to perform is festivals. And those are usually like alternative hippie festivals, and they're all spiritual and all open for it, all very lovely people. Maybe I can relate an anecdote from one festival that I performed at, which was a very, very, very special stage. It was 1 o'clock at night. No, it was midnight. We actually put the performance on midnight, and it would go to 1 o'clock at night. And we thought it would be a cool symbolic way to put like the magic performance at midnight. And it was in a forest. This festival was in a forest. It was an outside festival. It was in the summer. We're all just camping there. So it was in a forest, and the only stage that I had was actually two lights, two what do you call them? Two like theater lights, you know, two of the huge. What do you call them?
Floodlights?
Floodlights. Yes, that is two floodlights that on some free patch in the forest, in the woods, created a stage of light for me. So it was just, you know, it was just this circle of light, which then became my stage. And people were sitting on the ground all around that, and it was, midnight, people sitting in the floodlight, really magical atmosphere, and I did my hypnosis show there, and I loved it, and the people went wild, and been going wild with festivals ever since. And actually, in that particular night, one of my favorite anecdotes happened as well, which might go to show just what kind of impact it can have if you ritualize hypnosis, if you don't play it for comedy or laughs, if you play it for actual magic, which I believe it is. Hypnosis is, for my definition, creating a space between two people where magic is allowed to happen. It's the closest thing to magic that I ever got. So here's what happens, and I get similar things to this regularly, actually, which is cool, which I love, because people always have a special experience in hypnosis, and I really want to give them that as well. So there was this girl, and I had been doing a regression with her, and I want to send her back into her childhood. And this is again this is something from Peter Turner, where he gets someone to write with the left hand, although they're right-handed, or vice versa. I'm not sure if you've seen the effect. I'm not sure if he's released it. I won't say anything more about it. I've learned from him in his masterclass. It's brilliant. It's one of the things that I constantly mix with hypnosis. So technically it's mentalism, but I constantly mix it with hypnosis, and the method becomes invisible when you use hypnosis. It's pretty cool. So I wanted to do that with her. I wanted to send her back into her childhood, to the regression, and suddenly this woman started crying. And I thought, whoa, she might be having an ab reaction or something. So, you know, I've only ever had an ab reaction twice, luckily, even with all the coaching taken together. But I was like, okay, let's just, you know, lead her out of hypnosis and see what's up. Let's just put the show on hold for 5 minutes. Just give her a hug. We were all very close there and was all very loving. So I thought, you know, let's just take it slow, see how it's going. I took her out, and she told me that she had been crying tears of joy, actually. And she related her experience, and it was that she suddenly, while going back to her childhood, she found herself, when she was 7 years old, 6 years, 5 years, she was a child, playing with an imaginary friend that she had back then. Only that she then realized that the imaginary friend that she had been playing with had been herself in the moment that she was in hypnosis, going back in time to play with herself. So she kind of, you know, met her younger self and realized she had been her own imaginary friend. That is a pretty meta experience, you know, and that is a pretty magical experience. And people come back with experiences like that kind of regularly, not always as intense, not always as deep. I really like this anecdote because this particular woman or girl made a painting about it afterwards and gave it to me, and it's beautiful. I've got it on my Facebook. I shared it on my Facebook. She made a digital painting. You can see it on my Facebook page. I love the anecdote, but I think it goes well to show what kind of impact hypnosis can have outside of I'm doing this for entertainment and for laughs. It actually gives people a very real, very deep experience if you do it like that.
That being said, Timon is hilarious. If you go and watch some videos, just type in Timon Krause on on YouTube. You'll see some of his performances. Some of you, I'm sure, have the wrong image of this, you know, totally straight-laced Timon doing his thing. No, the guy's fucking hilarious. He's cracking jokes all over the place.
Yeah, definitely check them out. Just mind you, most of them are like 3 years old or something, but feel free to check them out anyway. There's no festival footage, unfortunately. I would love to put some on there. I'll try to get some. But yeah, I think you've been cracking up about the New Zealand one, right? There's been the New Zealand Review Talent Showcase from when I was 16 or something.
Yeah,
I got this lady up on stage, and she kind of didn't feel like it, I think, or something. But we kept cracking jokes. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Oh God, she was so nervous. She was like,
yeah. But, you know, in the end, it all comes down to having a good time. I think she had a good time as well. When I'm performing my shows, I always think I'm rehearsing to amaze, I'm rehearsing to install wonder, I'm rehearsing to be the best I can. But when I go up on stage, I play to have a great time. Just play to have the best time you can have. Which is also when you're rehearsing for a competition, just rehearse to be amazing and then go up and have a blast. Just rock it, rock it, rock it. Enjoy your time up there. Like, if we're honest, we all enjoy the attention. Obviously, we all enjoy the attention. It's part of it. Rock it out. Have fun with the audience. Go loose. Go wild. And yeah. So that, yeah. And I hope that people see that when I'm doing that as well on stage.
All right. And it's funny. When you're on stage, you're basically putting, depending if you have a character versus just being yourself. Well, and then that being said, don't just be yourself. Be the best form of yourself.
Yes, exactly. I'm not much into being a character, but that's because I'm not really a storyteller or something. I'm not a bizarrist, and I can see that a bizarrist would probably choose to create a character, which I think is cool. If you can do it compelling, that's really cool. But for me, it's just be yourself. I want to get to know the audience. I always, if it's a small enough theater, I always greet every single person at the door. I shake their hand and say, "Good to have you here. Have a seat. Let's have a chat later." And I tell them goodbye at the door as well. I just stand at the door and I shake their hand and I thank them for being there. And I want them to know me as well. So just show yourself. Don't be the mysterious, arrogant kind of entertainer. I tried that, didn't work for me. I'm having a way too good time up on stage, so I can't be all serious, can't be all funny. But obviously, if you're doing funny moments like that, if you just keep going, have a good time, it's also gonna become easier to have heavy impact, because once you switch to serious from there, people are gonna be more engaged. They're gonna be like, oh, this guy's been all lighthearted all along, and suddenly he switches to something serious, so there must be something serious coming as well, and you can draw them in a lot easier. I think authenticity, being authentic, I can't pronounce the word, it's great. Being authentic is one of the key points in being a good entertainer. The audience wants to know you, and yeah, if you're having genuine fun, they're going to have fun. That's also why it didn't matter that I failed last Saturday at the tryout that I told you about before tonight, that I mentioned before. It didn't really matter because I was having a good time. The amusement factor was high. And people noticed I was being genuine. I told them, this is the first time I'm trying this out. It failed. Okay. So what?
Plus, you wrote it to be entertaining without effects, which was
that as well, definitely. My stories were engaging. Yes.
It's funny. That really is the ultimate safety net. Is create presentations that are amazing even without.
Yes. It is. If you have that, you can't fail. As I said before, that I'm amazed by cabaretiers that do something without a safety net, but in a way they do have a safety net, because if the texts are good, they can't really fail. Sometimes a laugh might not really land, or the audience might not laugh at a point where they expect them to laugh. That's okay. If they're engaging, if the people are having a good time, that's fine.
Well, that's kind of for me. It feels like that's the thrill of what we do too, though. Is testing to see if this laugh's going to hit, is this moment going to hit correctly, and then
that's why that's also why I love hypnosis, and that's also why I love going propless, and why I love doing stuff that might not be 100%. It gives me a thrill. The audience is going to notice it gives me a thrill, and the audience is going to notice it's so much more real than performing a trick.
So I'll ask you this real quick. Let's see. Let me research my notes real quick. So we've covered a lot. We've covered a lot here. We've taken you guys on a journey where now you can theatricize your performances, and if you can't from this, go back and rewatch. You'll be fine.
I hope that you can. I hope there's some good advice.
Right. I mean, honestly, talking to Timon over the last few years, because honestly, I don't think I mentioned this earlier. I met Timon through the Great Green Room.
Yes, true. We did. We even did.
Yeah, it's weird because he saw me on he saw me comment on a mentalism on it was a hypnosis forum, and he just contacted me, and somehow I think if I remember right, it was just one day I created Facebook when I was in high school, and I thought, that's right, that guy Timon. I wonder if I can find him, and I just typed you in, and there you were, and we started.
Whoa, good-looking guy, that must be him. Nice.
Yeah, his hair. He's got so much hair, and it's so poofy, and mine's so flat. Maybe he has a secret that works better than Rogaine.
Yeah, it's called Volume 5. Volume 5 Hair Clay.
Volume 5 Hair Clay.
No shit. You can only get it in the UK though. It's pretty bad. I always have to fly over to London to get it.
It was easier when you had your girlfriend there, wasn't it? She just ship it over.
Yeah.
Screwed that one.
That was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. What can I say?
Yeah, so you contact me again, and ever since we've been in touch, and I love that, and we get this really good brainstorm session. So anyone watching this, if you're not in touch with Jacob, definitely get in touch with Jacob. And somehow, I don't know, somehow Jacob knows everyone, and he gets stuff from everyone for free, and he knows everything. It's pretty good, and he can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I think
summing up, I don't know.
one too much
I think we. I think we might be nearing the end. My feeling is that we might be nearing the end.
we covered.
Is there something we haven't covered yet? Yeah, go. What else? I can tell you. I can quickly tell you about. Look, I got this tattoo here, by the way, which is I really wanted to talk about. I told you we can incorporate this. Why are you single? Jacob said when he called me this afternoon. Jacob said, "Why is a good-looking German guy like you single?" He didn't say that.
I thought it.
But we really wanted to talk about this.
He does it. He really reads minds, folks.
Sure. No, so I got this tattoo here, which is my logo as a mind reader and a mentalist. And I put it here because you can feel my heart beat right here. And that is because mentalism, magic, mind reading, hypnosis is the one thing in life that I love most. It's the one thing that I'll never, ever leave. And I know that my heart's beat for it. So it's put here because you can feel my heart beating here, you can feel my pulse here. This is the one thing my heart's beating for. And I really hope that there's a lot of more people like that out there that really feel the love for this. And if you feel the love for this, go all out. This is like my life philosophy. If you have something that you love, if you have something that you really want to achieve, and I really want to be the best artist I can. I really want to make a living with this, but I also want to share the magic as much as I can. If you have something like this, please swear to yourself that you will do everything, literally everything, that you will devote everything. Your family, your girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your mother, your brother, I don't care, whatever. No, maybe that you devote everything to achieving the dream, because in a few years I'd rather find myself in the streets knowing that I have done everything I could to achieve my dream but didn't, than to find myself in an office with a secure job thinking I could have done more for my dream. And this is why I'm going to the theater school. This is why I'm putting in a lot of hard work, and the hard work totally pays off, because when I'm on stage I'm happier than I could ever be anywhere else. So if you feel like that, if you've got anything, even if it's not mentalism, not magic, that you feel this way about, go all out. You've got one shot at it. If you're not a Buddhist, you've got one shot at it. Go and do it.
I just got it. Took me a sec.
Oh, you got it now. Okay, sweet.
I'm slow tonight, man. I'm recovering from that sickness.
Fair enough. So is there anything we haven't covered yet? Maybe while I was rambling about your dream, which do it, but is there anything we haven't covered yet? Anything else you want to ask? I'm not sure. Go on. I've got all night, so keep going.
Well, I think we've covered the main points. I just want to plug your book real quick, which is, we talked about beforehand. It's really available upon request if they contact you, but it's some of those things that's it's not always available. In the book,
yeah, well, I guess it is always available. So I wrote a book 3 years back while I was in New Zealand. I set myself a goal. I was like, well, it's probably I should give a shout out to Richard Webster here, who is a great guy. Anyone who's ever met him will know that Richard is one of the kindest and most genuine people you can ever meet. Like, seriously, when you meet Richard, the one thing I think every time that I see him is, this is a nice guy through and through. There is nothing bad about him. He's kind, he's gentle, he's nice, he's an amazing person. If you ever can meet him, meet him. The other thing about him, he's the best friggin' cold reader I've ever met. When I first met him, I came into his house, I thought I knew what cold reading was about. He read my palm, he blew me away. If you want to learn cold reading, go with Richard material all out, okay? So, that said, Richard lives in New Zealand as well, and I met him when I lived there for a year. And he kind of encouraged me after I sent him a draft of a routine of mine to keep collecting my routines, to keep writing them up, and to publish them. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. And he was like, no, you should do it. Kept encouraging me when I was 16. And when I had enough routines, he told me on how to publish them. He told me how to get your books printed, how to get an IBSN number, and he kindly wrote the foreword for my book, which is called Cut the Strings, which back then was my philosophy on cut the strings, you know, already cut people loose from expectations from their reality, and that's why I called it Cut the Strings back then. If I were to write a second book, which I am writing, but if I were to publish it, I'd probably call it Tie a Knot, as in connect yourself with someone, which is my viewpoint now. But
It's a weird transition.
yeah, it's a weird transition, right? Cut the strings to tie a knot. So where was I? So the book, I wrote the book, and I had set the goal in New Zealand for myself to publish the book before I would turn 17, and that worked out just in time. I published it when I was 16, and I think you've read it. I think Jacob got a copy of it. Yes.
Oh, it's great. It's
of course you did.
fantastic.
Thanks, man. And there's what's in there. It's mentalism's in there. There's Propolis with hand in there, which I love, which I also performed for the competition act, which was great. And people, you know, I think people really like the Propolis witch hand because they didn't expect anyone to go balls out Propolis, do it for real at a competition and give the coin away, do it sleepless, no electronics whatsoever. Worked out well, was good, hit 100%, and it was so nice. There was also there's the angel induction in there. Angel induction is something that you like, Jacob. Yeah, it's hypnosis induction. It's called the angel system. I kind of called it the system. I wanted to sound cool back then. It's called the angel system, and it's this whole system about, which is also what a great scope of the book is about, combining hypnosis and healing or coaching or entertainment and coaching on stage. And the angel system does just that. It can give someone a very therapeutic experience while on stage, which today I probably would think twice about doing in such a heavy way, but I'll still do it. I still do it on stage. I still try to generally help people on stage and give them a gift. So the basic idea of the angel induction is that people are going to actually feel angel wings on their back. And it might sound weird or incredible, but there's actually a biological convincer for feeling angel wings on your back, which works really well. And I'm pretty stoked to have discovered that. There's some stuff I'm anchoring in there. There's my viewpoints on lucky charms in there and how to create a lucky charm from scratch for someone in a psychological way. So all in all, it's mind reading, it's entertainment, and it's coaching combined. Let me check. Oh, there's also a card amnesia effect in there. I got the book here. Let me check what's in the contents.
It's nothing but hard-hitting, excellent material that really does not require a lot of props. It's all fantastic.
Yeah,
like
it's pretty propless as well.
I'm not pushing this either. I mean, literally, I love this book. I refer back to it all the time. I'll find little nuggets there.
Nice.
It's bizarre.
So what's in it? Let's see. This is the book, by the way. Look, it's got my logo on there. I designed it in Word back then. It looked kind of shitty. didn't have a design or anything, so I just put some lines in Word. But I'm glad it looks better on my wrist. Okay. So what's in there? Forward, introduction, the lie game, which is my witch hand thing, the card amnesia, which is my elaboration on another card amnesia concept. There's the hypnosis bet, which is a well-known magic trick that I applied with script. I don't know why it's in there. There's my version of Grey Elements in Denmark. Actually, I forgot about that, which is over the internet, which is fun. There's the lucky charms, which take up a great chunk of the book. There's readings, me doing readings, and different ideas on readings, different theories in readings, and then the angel system. Sorry?
The facial shift
facial shift reading, exactly, which is a pretty cool one, which I actually took from when I was heavily into esoterics when I was younger. That's where I discovered the facial shift reading. It works pretty well. The idea is that someone they can read themselves, they can read you, you can read them. It works pretty well. Won't get too much into it. But so the book about the availability. Seeing that when I wrote the book, I was 4 years into mentalism, and I'm now about 4 years further into mentalism. I kind of think that my knowledge doubled or even more, and I feel that the book in some points is outdated. Not outdated as in it doesn't work, it works really well, but I would do some stuff differently now. So when I was asked if I wanted to put it back in print or translate it in English, but some people asked me if I wanted to translate it into German or Dutch to sell it here, I declined because I felt that this is not the material that I would write up now. Although I still use a lot of stuff. The witch hand is one of the routines that I use in every single show. The angel system is something that I use a lot in coaching. So what I've decided to do, as I'm not comfortable sending out the PDFs because I got this deep love for books and I got a deep love for physical printed books, I decided that people who want the book can contact me, and we got a bookshop in Amsterdam where I can do one-off prints of the book. You can have the book for the price that it costs me to print the book, which is usually somewhere between 15 and 20 euros, plus postage. So I won't make a cent of it. You get the book for as free as I can do it without sending you the PDF, because I don't want to send out the PDF. But anyone who wants it, they can just contact me, PM me, or go by my website, which is www.timental.de. And I'll send you the book, and you'll pay whatever it costs me to ship it to you and to print it. So that's how you can get the book if you want it.
Wunderbar.
Sorry?
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar, ja, wunderbar. Das ist ja ausgezeichnet.
Wunderbar, ja?
Nein, 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 nein.
Nein, nein, nein.
Nein.
Oh man.
So there was a plug for the book.
Do you know the Nazi joke?
The what joke?
The Nazi joke?
Do I know a Nazi joke?
Do you know the Nazi joke?
What is the Nazi joke?
Liar!
I didn't actually get it. Say it again.
Liar!
So this is what happens when Jacob and I Skype. Okay, whenever we Skype, we're total assholes towards each other. It's okay. We love each other.
This is toned down too, everybody. This is toned down.
This is toned down. Yeah, this is toned down. But it's still a bromance. Okay, we still love each other. So
yeah.
Actually, looking forward to it. I'll meet you in the summer. I'll be in the States in the summer in Florida, chilling out. So if there's anyone in Florida, get in touch, and we'll be chilling out. Jacob will be chilling out. So join us.
Come hang out. We'll be beach bums, and this guy can play his hanging drum.
Yes. I bought a handpan. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. Well, I think it looks like I got our questions answered. We've discovered at Theatrics the performance in 4 points that are easy to digest. If you can't figure it out from this, I'm sorry.
If you can't figure it out from this, contact me, okay? I'll be happy to help. But still, I hope it was clear. I hope you can get something from this.
Right.
We've covered philosophy and magic and why I claim it's real.
Exactly.
Which goes a lot deeper. If you ever want to get into discussion about that, definitely. It goes a lot deeper than that. The whole underlying thing is what is reality? When does something become real? And there's a lot about the morals of it. So this is what I'm writing my second book about. It's my whole vision on it. So.
Which should be released. Thank you.
I hope so. Yeah, I'll see if I can find the time. I'll first finish writing it, okay, before I go into any other plans.
Well, I tell you what, man. You should also redo your whole. You should redo Cut the Strings if you don't think it's. I mean, personally, I think it's highly relevant still because I.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar. I was thinking I could redo it, rewrite it, and update it, and then maybe post it again. Could work. Or just update it and put it into the second book. We'll see.
You'll make it happen. You got it. You got this. Well, everyone, it's starting to get kind of late. We've covered a lot of material, and we've had a great time. And I want to thank you for joining us on the first Underground Spotlight here. As you can see, we're going to try and track down more almost mythical creatures from the underground, such as this lovely man with cartoonish hair we have before us.
And there is more. Definitely there is more, I'm sure. So, dude, thank you for having me on the first Underground Spotlight. It was such an honor, man. I loved it.
Hey, no problem, man. I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to do this particular interview for a long time, a very long time. So
awesome, man. Definitely.
Do it.
I hope that the people enjoyed it, people watching us, and people who will watch us. Thank you for watching. I hope you had a great time. Oh, we should solve the riddle, right? We can't leave without solving the riddle.
Yeah.
Whoa, that nearly went wrong. Nearly forgot the most important thing. Whoa, what happened to your hair? So the riddle. What is a chameleon in space? We've been going on about this for 1.5 hours, so you're going to be highly disappointed. The answer is, it's dead. Thank you. So that was the last Timon one-liner for tonight, okay? What's a chameleon in space? It's dead. And to be honest, this is my joke that's in every single show that I do. Whenever I turn around and I don't know what to say anymore, or I just simply, I don't know. So, when I write my script, I always write into it. I don't know what to say, so I'll tell the joke, and I always tell the joke in every single fucking joke. It's so funny. I think it's funny. The audience doesn't, but I think it's funny. And you gotta have a good time on stage. So.
The weird and awkwardness of the joke is what's funny.
Yeah. That's where the awkward animals come in as well.
Awkward animals for life.
Okay, so let's finish this up. I don't know. What do you do to finish the interviews? What do you?
Well, I'll tell you what. This is Jacob Smith signing off here, and back to our guest here. Everyone, thank Timon,
This is Timon Krause signing off. Thank you.
and we will
And
see.
thanks from Amsterdam.
And we will see you here in a few weeks. And I still have to find it. I'm still trying to figure out who our next guest is going to be, but I'm thinking it might be someone whose name starts with an A, his first name starts with an A, last name starts with a J, and has a company with 2 H's. And I'll let you figure that out. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining us again.
Cheers.